Hello, yeah, me again. I posted something which I thought was quite necessary and needed, which was a letter to Donald Trump from the world, listing several things. You know, sitting there thinking to myself, everything seems to be about Donald Trump at the moment. There seems to be a lot of attention put on Donald Trump at the present moment in time. And in my mind, that means that, whilst we are focusing on Donald Trump and his antics, we're taking our eye off the ball, or maybe taking our eye off the ball on other activities that are going on, out there. Like the British government sending warplanes over to Saudi Arabia. Doesn't sound like a far-fetched, thing for our government to do. Oh, sorry. I've seen footage of barrel bombs, cluster bombs, whatever they're called, being used, and we make them. We may not drop them. We may not be like the ones that are responsible for the destruction that they cause in the fact that we didn't drop them, but we need to take some kind of responsibility for the fact that we made them. The same for these warplanes. And I think myself, this is only. Hold on, sorry, it's a little bit weird having people comment and that. Yeah, because of the British Saudi arms deal. Yes, but I don't know very much about Saudi Arabia. Only of what I've looked into. Pay to play with the Saudi, great. Sorry, I'm quite simple. I didn't understand. Pay to play with the Saudis. Okay. It goes on to other things. Do you know what I'm saying? That we are responsible for. In my video earlier on, I was saying about a British reporter was asked Donald Trump a question, and funny enough, there were actually fears that I have that she was talking about. It's weird to have a British reporter really actually asking the serious questions. Maybe it's because they were in a foreign country, but still. And he just went over the top, just passed it over to Theresa May, or shrugged it off, smiled, all this crap. You need to research this arms deal. I do, but do you understand what I mean, Victoria, by the fact that we need to take responsibility for the fact that we make these weapons? I don't think you're missing that point. I think you're trying to educate me on obviously the arms deal, which is brilliant. I'm all for learning new things and the bits and pieces that I don't know. That's why I do these videos most of the time, because I understand that I may not have the answers to everything, and maybe I look at things or say things a little bit differently than what most people do. But I feel responsible as a British citizen, a person, the person of the human race, for the fact that we sit idly by and allow these puppets, politicians, if you want to give them the slang term for them, to do what they do, get away with what they get away with, and absolutely do nothing against them. I am not one of these people that believe violence is the answer. I do think it's coming to the point where that is the only language that the British government or any government seems to understand. When you take to the streets and burn and pillage and smash things up, I don't agree with it, but you do see how much attention is given to that. I think more of the tension of why you're doing it gets taken away by the fact that you are smashing shit up. I can understand that part, but do you know what I mean? For so long, myself personally, I've been there with my flags, my banners, my megaphone, speaking what I believe is the truth in public events. And words are as far as we can go. We'll put in ink to paper is as far as we can go. The people that want war and destruction and hatred and everything else, they have their tactics, the way that they do things, and unfortunately we can't do the same thing. I would never be allowed, you know, if I was in the position to be selling, you know, arms to people, which is not my thing, but if I was, you know, I would not be selling them to the Saudis. Do you know what I'm saying? Because of what I know personally about them. Do you know what I'm saying? I couldn't sell, you know, a gun to a, you know, to somebody, and then for them to then go out and shoot people. I would kind of feel responsible for the fact that I was the one that sold it. You know, without the gun, there would be no shooting. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I see things. It's a little bit higgledy-piggledy mostly in my head, to be honest, but it's hard to grasp that most people don't see the world like I do. It's strange for me, you know. It's strange for me to be able to, you know, sit in a crowd of people and them to be, you know, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, Donald Trump this, you know, all good stuff, you know, all stuff that, you know, we want, you know, fighting ISIS, you know, taking down the, you know, the big, you know, powers that be. But on the other hand, he wants to, you know, ban Muslims from countries, you know, to his country. He's rounding them up. That's something to worry about, you know, when somebody has the power to start rounding up a class of people. I think we need to start worrying, whether they physically do it, I mean, by getting them on buses and stuff, or branding, you know, colours, creeds or religions, and then people then do their own thing. Do you know what I'm saying? You start saying that all Muslims are terrorists, you're going to start seeing mosques being burnt and stuff. Nobody wants that. You know, I don't believe even the people that spurt this propaganda want that. Do you know what I'm saying? But they need to blame somebody, so they, you know, they pick an easy target. That's the way I see it. You know, it'd be like saying all Christians are a member of the KKK, if you're trying to say that all Muslims are terrorists. But then some people will say to me, well, you know, we can't tell what, you know, Muslims are terrorists and, you know, what Christians are terrorists and this, that and the other. It's not like they got them tattooed on their forehead. And I can understand that. But we grow, I believe we grow these terrorists, you know, by fearing whatever it is, by fearing ISIS. You know, our fears then work on the people that we're surrounded by. You know, we see somebody of a different colour or creed and our brain automatically jumps on, they got to be this or they got to be that. And I know some people say, well, you know, it's not all like that. You know, we do have some, you know, good ones and bad ones, and you do have good Muslims and bad Christians, and do you know what I'm saying? But they just like to brand them all the same, and I'm not one of them people. You know, I judge people by their own merits, not by what they follow. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a Rastafarian, but that doesn't mean I discredit everybody else because they're not. You know, it just means that I have my path that I'm going to go down, and you have your own, and hopefully at some point in my life cycle, our paths will meet. You know, whether it's political or, do you know what I mean? There's always going to be a connection between me and the human race. I just want the human race to understand that, yes, I may see and think differently than the rest of you guys, but you will see it too. You know, what happens if, let's say, the imams start telling all Muslims that, you know, the white man are bad for them? You know, the white man, you know, is out to kill them, or has negative and harbours negative feelings towards you, you know, then they're going to be up in arms. Every time they see a white person, that's the first thought that's come into their minds. You know, I think the world needs to judge people by their own merits. You know, yeah, I understand it's difficult. Yeah, I understand that, you know, the way the world works and is unbalanced, and the harboured negative feelings towards what I say or what I do. But I just want a better world where we don't have any of this shit. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't think the current way we're going down is the way to do it. You know, and instead of sitting there and bitching and moaning, and I'm trying to do something. Do you know what I'm saying? I may not be doing what everybody else thinks is right, but I think by publicly going on television or signing executive orders or doing what Donald Trump is doing with the Muslim side of things, what Theresa May and The people responsible for the warplanes, you know, they need to take responsibility for their actions. Do you know what I'm saying? I have to take responsibility for mine and the damage that I do to people's lives, you know, whether it's good or bad depending on what you see. But, you know, you can't have Donald Trump doing his hate speeches. Hello Scott, how you doing, brother? Wow, that's a lot of thumbs up, my friend. I think you should watch the rest of the video before putting thumbs up. I've got a lot of people putting snide comments, not on the actual video, but actually on yeah. But I love snide comments. I like when people disagree with me, because it means we can have a debate, we can have a discussion, and we don't, you know, we don't have to be on the same page. I'm not saying I hate Donald Trump. I'm not saying that, you know, him as a person is evil or whatever. Comparing him to the Führer is only because I believe the next step for him is to round up all people that he finds non-desirable, whether you be Muslims or Muslim sympathisers or whatever they're fucking called. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I think his next step's going to be. For some reason he has so much hatred towards these people, yet when he banned and outlined his ban, the countries that he should have banned, he never did. So obviously it's a double-edged sword, I think, with him. Why he wants to have his cake and eat it, and unfortunately that's not possible. I'm going to leave the video there for a minute, guys. I did have lots I wanted to say, but as usual I get on the, you know, get in front of the camera and my words jumble up, and you know how it goes. I should really script this, but then, you know, I don't like doing that. I like to speak from the heart, speak from my mind, and allow it just to flow naturally, whether it messes up or doesn't mess up. I do my thing, you do yours. So as usual, guys, have a lovely Sunday of what's left. I hope you spread peace, love and unity, as, you know, I would. So as usual, peace and love.